so I'm so grateful. I'm telling you, there's so many good things that's happening. There's while Shaitan or Shaitin, Shaitan and company are very busy today trying to divert attention, trying to distract us. But there's no match for what Allah has in store to establish the life, the human life on the fitra. That's the day that we're in right now. That's the time that we're in. That's the moment that we're in. That's the eternity that we're involved in right now. So again, greetings all. We're looking forward to our conversation that will be led by International Instructor Benjamin Bilal, and that subject matter that he's going to share with us is around the Quran is not moral. The Quran is not moral. So get ready for that. Be strapped in. Get your deep diving gear. Don't know how deep he's going to go, but just get ready for it. And of course, we have a presentation in just a few minutes by Adilah Muhammad. Of course, she's right here in the ATL in Atlanta, and an active part of our our sister group at the Masjid Bayina, and that part of our class. And so we certainly want to appreciate her diligent effort to collect her thoughts, and that's the first thing that we're given in the Quran, according to the way we've been guided to understand in terms of the first revelation, and that is for us to gather, to collect, to harvest. Ikra, you know. So we certainly uh, hope and pray and that the gathering of our collective thoughts now, giving attention to Adila and what she has to offer. She shared with me some time ago. And I think it's a very appropriate for the follow-up of the information that Instructor Bilal gave us several classes ago about women, about the woman. And if I'll let her explain exactly, of course, uh, how she's going to approach it, and pray Allah that you give her your full attention. And remember, each one of us has something uniquely and extremely valuable to share with everyone else. I mean, all of our brothers and sisters around our home, the planet, needs what each one of us has to share. So give her that level of attention as just as you would anyone else. And however high you may hold them in your own personal esteem, in terms of the amount of knowledge that they seem to have, the position that they seem to have, the power that they seem to have, the wealth they seem to have, then give that same attention to our sister Adilah. And Adilah, if you are ready, we are ready for you. But before you get started, let me just share this. If you will look in the chat, I sent a message there. The very first entry in the chat there is to everyone, and it's a Zoom link. After we finish our class today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, I will be interviewed, and I sent quite a few of you the specific link to your phones or to your devices in a text, and you can just click on that, and it'll take you directly to that particular podcast. It'll just be for an hour, and I will be sharing my life story. And there's a lot to squeeze 77 years in 1 hour, but going to give it our best shot. But we're going to share the best of the jewels, the memories, the essence, the whatever wisdom, whatever information that Allah will allow us to pass on. That's what we're going to do in that hour's time. And we want those of you, especially those of you who are in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, we want you to start gathering your thoughts about your whole life experience. And it's essential for us to tell our story. It's absolutely essential. As you see, the forces that be, they're trying to write us out of history. Not only our contributions through Al-Islam, from W.D. Farad all the way to the present, but the whole experience. It, it so it's up to us to tell our story, and only we can tell our story through our perception. No one else can do that for us. So that's what I'll be doing for that hour. You're welcome to attend. Again, it's just an hour long, from 4 to 5 Eastern time. And all you do is click on that Zoom link, and I'll bring this back to your attention again before we leave our class. All right, alhamdulillah. So, Adilah, if you are ready, we are ready for you.
I'm ready.
All right, alhamdulillah. You have the talking stick.
Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I just wanted to really start by expressing my gratitude for this body of knowledge called NuNetics. Very grateful that Instructor Bilal is sharing this knowledge with us and making it easily available. And I also want to express my great gratitude and appreciation for my fellow class members here. We are a great group. We get along so well and we're learning together. So I really, really appreciate that. And I wanted to start out with that. As a student of NuNetics, the insights are layers upon layers of knowledge, that and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. So NuNetics has allowed me to see myself as a seed in the ground, spreading my roots to make me more stable in the ground of understanding and actions that are different from those of my past. I'm breaking through the soil, seeking the sunlight and rain. Sure. So today I want to share with you some of my reflections on the womb. That would be the Arabic letters Ra, Ha, and Mim, or Raham. In my daily pursuits, I refer to myself as a womb wellness advocate. So allow me to take the NuNetic meanings of the Arabic letters Ra, Ha, and Mim that are present even in our Bismillah, Rahman Rahim, that Rahim, that womb is right there. It's all related to the womb of women. That's our template. We have many wombs in our lifetime, but that first womb, our first home, that's the template. Women means womb of mind. And man means mind. So I like to refer to us as womb men. And I'd like to say that the Creator has chosen to send all of humanity through the wombs of woman, and that he has given the woman a double portion. So not only does she have a mind, but she has a womb. So alhamdulillah for that. So as Shaitan has promised to wait and attack us on the straight path, we find many women who have come to see the womb's form and especially the function as something cloaked in shame, pain, secrets, whispers, disdain, and darkness. So very few young girls get an adequate introduction to womb manhood. The letter R represents that circular orifice, anything circular or spherical. The vagina of the woman's endpoint is the opening of the cervix. And that is the anatomy, that beginning anatomy of the physical womb. The cervix is the opening to the womb, also referred to as the uterus. Environmentally, the letter R is associated with cycles occurring over and over again on repeat. The womb has a monthly cleanse approximately every 28 to 29 days. That's very much like the cycle of the moon. One of the teaching ayat in creation. So like the womb, like the moon, the womb waxes and wanes. And by the way, many words we often use are related to the womb, like month. The first calendar was that woman's cycle. It came on a regular so that you keep up with time. Menses, menarche, menopause, all related to the womb. The abstract meaning of the letter R has to do with command, authority, and consciousness. With the shift in consciousness, we are able to be the authority over our menstrual health and well-being. We are the best one to take authority over our menstruation. We are able to respond. In other words, to take responsibility for being our own scientists, with our body serving as our lab, which I'll share more details after looking at the letters Ha and Mim. The Arabic letter Ha, think of aromas. Think of arms when embracing, surrounding, and protecting, and heavy breathing. The pregnant womb is a great example of surrounding, protecting, and embracing the unborn baby. And it's in a very secure place. In chapter 77 of the Quran, ayats 20 and 21, Allah refers to the womb as a secure place. Some of the muscles that surround the unborn baby are the rectus abdominis, the six pack, as they're sometimes referred to, the obliques, and the transverse abdominis. Many of us know that heavy breathing associated with the letter R, when it's done rhythmically, it's often beneficial for mothers when they are in labor and delivering the newborn. Like the letter Ha, these muscles allow activity within its interior. And we can see that and feel the baby moving while in the mother's womb. Imagine the quickened spiritual consciousness available to us when women open themselves up to the two-way communication on a constant and consistent basis with the source creator. So we're able to establish that. You can see it very clearly. She's carrying this new life, which really belongs to the creator. She's just blessed to be the vehicle for carrying it. And so having that two-way communication, being in constant awareness of the creator really helps our spiritual growth and development. The letter Me in the word womb is rich in gifts of understanding. It is associated with a contained area whose size grows and shrinks. We clearly see again the pregnant belly grows with the new life and shrinks upon the delivery of that newborn. Women are also experience the heavier womb. Their womb gets a little heavier every month as that waxing is occurring, as that womb is getting ready for possible implantation of a new womb. It's a little heavier than it is at other times of the month. That lining is thickening, preparing to really, again, protect, embrace that new life. We also see the example of multiplication of accumulation in this womb. The environment of the female reproductive system is a warm, moist area, and the mean represents a semi-fluid environment, life-sustaining fluids. If we think of water, ma'a, milk, laban, and blood, dam, all of these are so closely related to what goes on with the woman. Such an exemplary present. Blood and water are the main players when there is no conception and the womb prepares for its monthly cleanse. Don't forget that when a baby is delivered from the womb, messages are sent to the breast tissue to let down the absolute best food for the newborn. The quality and quantity of these custom-made nutrient, especially for this baby, is ready and available on demand. So amazing. If the mother delivers a low birth weight baby, the milk for that baby is very heavy on fats at the beginning of the feeding and it tapers off. But if the baby is a large baby, then other nutrients are contained in that initial milk. So it really is a customized food for the baby. We refer to that lactation as live food, as opposed to giving baby a man-made formula that cannot adapt to the baby, does not have the wisdom from its creator. There's no comparison really worthy of the source creator's customized feeding for this creation. And as the baby nurses from the mother's breast, the mother also gets benefit. As the baby suckles, her womb begins to shrink down and return to its pre-pregnancy size. The mean letter is in the abstract is about commonality and community. Women all over the world, no matter how hard manipulators try to divide and conquer us, we all share the same gifts from the source creator as being the womb bearers. There's also a lesson in community, as the womb lives in community, with her neighbors being the pelvic bones of protection. It's positioned between the urinary bladder and the colon, and so they affect each other. If the bladder is especially full, or if that colon is constipated, it can affect what's coming from the uterus, whether it's the baby or whether it's that monthly flow. So, we're lost here. One expression of our wealth also is that letter mean, and it's also in that womb. Wealth of opportunity, wealth of family, wealth of community. So it is heavily steeped in wealth. The many generous blessings from the source creator is just really astounding. And if we're just looking at our inner selves, there's so much to learn, so much to be grateful for. If we use the scientific process to observe, gather data, make positive responses to our bodily function, we have great input to preserving our form and function. So if we are in alignment with how our bodies are designed to function, then we don't have that breakdown that we see so often in our community from poor choices and decision making that worked against us instead of working in alignment with that form and fashion function. So a shift in our consciousness will take us out of the darkness that has often contributed to so many women looking upon their menstrual cycle as a negative time. However, going back to the letter R, abstract attribute of command and authority, we use the process of observation to track the details of our cycle. How many days is it from the first bleed of 1 month to the first bleed of the next month is the cycle. So how many days long is that? What does the blood look like? Because bright red blood gives you a different message of what's going on in your body as opposed to the darker colors, the orange, the brown, any other color other than bright red is saying to you, it's your body communicating that it needs something it's not getting. So paying attention, approaching this as a scientist, we began to really understand how we have that command, that authority. Then we look at how long is each phase of the 28-day cycle. It's typically broken up into 4 cycles. And the hormonal expression in each cycle is different. The nutrients that the body needs can be different for each phase of the cycle. For example, how many women know when they ovulate? So studying your body helps you understand when you're actually in ovulation, when your body is primed for clearer communication, more social interaction, your libido is higher. So as women become the scientists of their bodies, their partners, their mates also benefit from that understanding because they are better sync, better balance between the two for what they're trying to accomplish as a family. So, what are my thoughts during these days? These are questions that we should be asking ourselves. What am I thinking? What is my mentation like each day of the month? How am I feeling? How am I responding? If you are paying attention and you're keeping notes of this, you could imagine that a young girl who comes into womanhood, if she's a scientist of her own body, by the time she's ready for motherhood, she is the expert on her body. She does not have to give her power over to someone else to tell her how to manage because she's paid attention. So she has that authority. She has that command over herself. And is often missed out on now, but this is how we get this shift in consciousness towards higher levels of living. So I'm just in constant remembrance and gratitude how I've been blessed to be one of the chosen to bring humanity forward, thus keeping the womb environment sacred. Again, teaching the young girls that this is a sacred area. It is not a playground. And being very intentional and purposeful in who has access to that. So when we learn to be responsive to the womb's messages, again, we're building our authority over our own selves. We command our experience by being in communication with the one who is in charge of the original design of the woman, and then we respond accordingly. We get regular maintenance for our we get regular maintenance for our high performance vehicles with our oil change, spark plug. So this monthly cleanse is like your monthly maintenance. And so it has high value. It is not to be looked down on or, oh, I hate to see this time of month coming. Changing that mentality and how you approach it can bring you great benefit. Our reproductive community needs our constant vigilance. Am I feeding her junk food, processed food that has no resemblance and none of the nutrients from the earth from which we came? Did I allow the enemy who awaits on the straight path to tamper with the foods? And when it goes into my body is a foreign object. The body doesn't really know what to do with it. So if I'm eating heavily processed foods that have no resemblance to what comes out of the earth, do I keep my body well hydrated with pure water? Or am I always drinking some sugary beverage that again leads to the breakdown instead of to the high functioning of this body? Am I slowing down during my bleed days to allow my body to reset so that the cycle runs smoothly? Do I spend time in quiet meditation to really hear the messages of my Creator, who encourages me to have open one-to-one communication? And is my mind constantly bombarded with music, TV, video games, cell phones, etc.? Do I have self-care practices that don't come from the pharmacy or the department store? Have I forgotten about do for self? Or have I given my authority over to someone who doesn't even look like me or have my best interest at heart? Am I just an economic empowerment source for them and just a period poverty entity for myself? Perhaps we have given our autonomy to others as we live in ignorance, ignoring the blessings that the Creator has given us. When it comes to our higher consciousness, our command and authority found in the letter R are our healthy, abundant, and quickened spiritual consciousness avenues. As we operate in the care of our intellect, that inner telling that letter had. Or maybe we need to steer ourselves back to the midway. Again, an attribute of that meaning, away from extremes that have us doubled over in pain, passing clots, unable to keep up with the rat race of the artificial life. Let's make it back to the mainstream of our source creators, mothering, nurturing wealth, as the letter means reminds us. And finally, let's look at chapter 2, ayat 222. And they ask about menstruation. In this ayat, we're told to leave the woman alone. Why do you think she needs to be left alone? She needs to be left alone because this is a time for her to have that reset. This is a time for her to be in stronger communication with the Creator. this is a time when she needs to pull back on her activity, uh, doing, and concentrate on being.
Mm.
A time to commune with our Creator. Concentrate on being. A time of meditation, a time of receiving, which receiving is a feminine attribute. So we need to get more into that receiving during this time. It is not a time for others to tell us what to do, how to do, but to be in quiet meditation so that the one whose original design of the womb can send the inspiration and she's able to receive, recognize, and connect with it. I am the feminine scientist in my own lab.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to share just a few of my reflections and inspirations.
Yeah.
I'm always open to hear from others, your response, corrections where I need to be corrected. So again, thank you very much. And whenever you're in the Atlanta area, we're about to open a Womb Love and Reverence Gallery, just covering more of what I've talked about here. So the 27th of November, I think we're planning our grand opening. So whenever you're in the neighborhood, stop by to see us. Thank you.
You know,
So I do have a website. It's wombloveandreverence.com.
okay, put that in the chat, please. Be sure to
Okay.
put that in the chat, Adilah. Have someone put it in the chat for us.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Wow.
Wow.
I have to start off by saying I'm glad I'm not International Instructor Benjamin Bilal. I'm trying to follow that. I'll just start with that note. You know, that was such a
Ooh,
what can I say? That was so filled with the fitra. You know,
okay.
Yeah.
what better teacher for us, you know, than the fitra itself?
Yes.
And oh man, that was so beautiful. It was you know, when I was having this discussion with my brother last night, you know, he tried to uh to to uh confound me, you know, to try to just mess up my mind when he was saying that you should just put your I'm gonna put all of my attention on knowing God. And so my response was, well, I said, how are you going to know God? And he had no answer for that, really. I mean, he stumbled with it for a minute. I said, the way you know God is by studying with God's creation. I said, and you have just enough. You don't have to worry about the sun and the moon and the stars and the earth and all of that. Just study your own human body. So I just started going with his hair on his head and his eyebrows and the hair in his nose and the hair. And I said, just start with that, you know, and you'll spend a lifetime just on that, learning about God's will in you. And Adilah, you did such a wonderful job. I mean, you know, I think I'm speaking for our whole class. I'll pass the talking stick over to international instructor or even to some of our other classmates who want to share some thoughts. Because I know I see a hand up already. So, but praise be to Allah.
Can we have the website repeated, please?
She's going to put it. Someone's going to put it in the
Can you put it in
chat. Check the chat.
Can you ask them to have some system required for that?
Okay. Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, we have several of them that Karima's the first one that has her hand up. Put your hand up if you want to respond. Karima has her hand up first, so we'll let her start. Karima, can't hear you yet.
You're on mute, Kareem.
Still on mute.
She's on. There
Okay,
you
now
go.
you can hear.
Yes, now we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Sister Adilah, assalamu alaikum. It's an excellent presentation. I don't know if you have any professional background, but your anatomy and physical things that goes on with a woman in her womb is very professional presented. And when you added that NuNetics touch to each word in the womb, it just expanded everything. So whatever you have done today, I, as a professional nurse, cannot follow because everything is in sync and exact. I can't say anything else except alhamdulillah. Beautiful.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Any other sisters? Adib, I see your hand up. We want to check any other sisters that want to respond. We're gonna hear from the women folk first.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's why I'm patient. I want to hear them too.
Abiba, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I have listened to a lot of presentations as far as our anatomy is concerned. She was so explicit and it was so beautifully presented. There's no need for anybody to walk away from this saying, I don't understand. SubhanAllah, Jazakallah Karun, I appreciate it. Everything, and I've been in the medical profession, and not as vast as some others, but I have been in the medical profession, and I've never heard anything done so eloquently. This was really nice. Could you please repeat the website that you have?
It's in the chat now.
Okay, great. Subhanallah. Salamun alaikum.
Wow, and I was visiting someone to expand our reach to the youth yesterday. There's a youth organization here in Atlanta. It's called the Results Central, and I was with Maurice yesterday, and he had a visitor to come in, and so I was sharing with him about our experience with NuNetics, and I told him NuNetics has lifted my perception to such a point till I'm a lifelong learner, and because he loved that concept, and I told him that I'm a better learner now than I've ever been before, and NuNetics has been the cause of that, and I said, but I'm at such a state of learning now. Not only am I a learner, of course, I'm also an instructor, a teacher. I said, but I'm at the level now where no matter what the discipline is, I can teach, I can instruct the doctors, the professors, those who have a specialty in that certain area, based upon our focus on the natural environment, on the fitra. And come to find out, this man had 2 degrees. I didn't know that at the time. And he was sitting there with his mouth open most of the time that I was sharing with him. But this kind of presentation that Adilah just gave, I mean, she can teach the doctors. She can teach the professors of the doctors with what she just gave.
And she will be. She will be. That's my prediction.
Yeah. And this is how we create. Listen, this with that level of precision as Abiba just mentioned, and Karima before her, that level of just locking in at that level of excellence and proficiency. This is how we bring in this new world.
Yes.
New world. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. So I mean, I just can't applaud her presentation enough. Okay, Salia, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, Adilah. Your presentation needs to be shared. I want to share it with sisters in my circle, so they can share it with the youth in my circle.
Yes.
I really am, I am touched and elated at how you took the word Rahman and Rahma being womb and worked in the fitra with the womb and the progression of the female anatomy in that part of our chakra system. I am very, very elated. And it's an example for me. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to follow that. You know, I have to sit back and study more. That's all I can say. But congratulations, sister. You knocked it out of the box today. And again,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to share that with
Yeah.
others in and out of our circle who were here. And thank you very much. That was a very educational presentation. It's an example for us to be able to follow the method of NuNetics, and I appreciate you applying it the way you did to the fitra of our anatomy and to the environment, the body part and the abstract. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, there are
want-
no more sisters. I don't see any other sisters with hands up. If there anyone else before I
I
go.
want to say that this should be put in a pamphlet for all of our preteens and teenagers, because most parents do not know how to explain the menstrual cycle and what's going on with that teenager body. We do not know how to do it. And the books that we have that I use for my daughter does not explain to this level with this professional language. It does not. So Adilah,
Yeah.
you need to publish this.
Yes.
You need to
Yeah.
publish this right away, because we as women and as sisters need this to teach to our children and to our grandchildren. We need this.
You're absolutely right. And guess what? Not only just for the women and the girls, but for the men and the boys.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That professor, that doctor I was with yesterday, he was just distraught because he had just lost a nephew who committed suicide.
Ooh.
And his nephew committed suicide behind this very kind of thing you're talking about right now, where he just couldn't handle the level of teens that he's in right now. And one of the things that really took him over the edge was he started having babies, with these girls out there, and it just one thing led to another, and he just couldn't take it anymore. So it's needed for all of the youth, especially, of course, especially the women, especially the girls, both the boys and the men need it as well. And I can appreciate it. Allah blessed me. Out of my 7 children, 5 of them were girls. And I was there for the birth of each one of them. So I can really, really identify with what you're saying. And for us men as fathers, as grandfathers, we need to really understand and tap into and appreciate the kind of presentation that Adilah gave, because it will change your life forever. It'll change our ability to really act as fathers, to act as husbands. So it's alhamdulillah. It's Arlene. Okay, Arlene, you have something to share. Be sure you unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, it was an excellent presentation, and I just went to her website, and sister is fantastic. I see that you have an 8-week course, and inshallah, I will be in touch with you offline. We have a women's wellness organization here in Minneapolis, and this might be something that can be incorporated as a course, at least an 8-week course. So inshallah, you will hear from me soon after the class. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, Adi, we're ready for the brothers now, I believe.
Salam alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Adilah, I'm talking about being on point. They said that in the Quran, or it is said that half of the religion is to be married to a woman of your caliber and your excellence. We men have to learn how to respect women again. And it's only by women of your caliber that won't take nonsense from people that's coming through with all that junk.
Yeah.
You're more than beautiful. You're excellent. That arm, that enclosure, man can't put the child on his hip and he'll be switching from time to, from arm to arm. He doesn't have that embodied in himself. So the greatest thing that he can do is to be married to an
Excuse me,
understanding. Yes.
Master Instructor. Where's your view? Where's your camera?
Yeah.
I
There
got
you go.
excited, man.
All right.
Like shukran. I mean, if it's like people were saying, we need this news, like Imam Muhammad said, to be published. Because as we won't, somebody else will and put their name on it. We cannot let this go unpublished. I mean, it's so important. The way you did this was a particular expertise that I think is only aligned to those who study NuNetics. I'm just saying for myself. You ain't gonna get this. You ain't gonna. It's called Manet Jamet. That means everything that's in there was needed. You took every nook and cranny. You took every seed and pollinated it and sprouted and brought it back and then did it to each individual letter. That was awesome. And I'd like to have that, so I can, as a man, be able to share with young men about, I would say, the limbic brain. You don't want your emotionality to be over top of your thinking because it's going to yield dysfunctional behavior that's not going to be in your best interest. And I'm going to leave it like that. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I do.
Praise be to him.
Shukran.
And Abdul.
Yeah, I echo what the others have said. How brilliant it came across, and trying to get to further emphasize how nature is natural for women to go through this, and for us to see that it's nothing disgusting, and like the brother Safir said, it should be respectful. And we shouldn't look down upon this, and the women should look down upon it. And then as we grow, we should, this is a part of Mother Nature. And so it help us bring together the unity amongst the male and female. And let them know that we are all a part of one another, this beautiful humanity. And that's pretty much it.
All right, alhamdulillah. There's this concept of duality, left, right, up, down, male, female, But the duality comes from the idea of Tawheed, of unity. And when those, and this is true in any kind of relationship, but when the two become engaged in this process of modulating the frequencies, the two engaging and having the exchange, then the frequencies are modulated and the two becomes one. And that's where our strength is. So, brother, you're right on it. And as we allow ourselves, Allah allows, and we as creators, we're not source creator, but as creators, as we allow ourselves to grow and to use. What Adilah has done so beautifully is that she has taken her knowledge base of the Quran, of Al-Islam, and now of NuNetics, and she's using it.
Yes.
That's what makes the difference, y'all.
Yes.
So whatever Allah has put in you, focus your attention on in this moment of time. And time is just a man's construct. But in this moment, in this eternity, in this Jannah, right now, put your attention on using whatever you got right now. You don't have to wait till tomorrow till you get it perfect like you think you have to get it. But wherever you are, focus your attention right now on using whatever you got. And that's what Adilah is doing. She's a wonderful example of that. Ahmed Hassan.
Assalamu alaikum. Islam.
All right. Hassan Abdullah, we'll get to you. Right now, Ahmed has his hand up, so we'll go with him.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
It seems to me that it would be a great, great, great disservice to humanity if what she had just said is not written down and published so that the whole world can benefit from what I just heard. I done heard stuff today, I ain't never heard in my life about no woman, okay? So I'm saying, I know I don't live in no vacuum, and I know there's millions of men and women, for that matter, young girls, like she say, that don't have the connection and understanding of connecting this thing like the way she did it. So I'm saying that I'm praying that she publishes that as a pamphlet, a book, or something, and it'll be disseminated across the globe, because ain't no air in it. It's based on the Quran. It's based on fitras. It's based on the patterns in this life we live, this physical life. So it's foolproof. I mean, it's bulletproof. It can go anywhere and it's gonna get the same reaction that we giving right now. Thank you.
No, and you asked me on it, Ahmed, that doctor I was with yesterday. When I said, look, man, I don't have any degree. I told him I spent a few years in college, but I don't have a degree. I said, but I become such a good learner. He's excited about NuNetics, by the way. I said, I become such a good learner till I'm now able to teach doctors. And he said, and he has two doctorates now. And he said, I didn't know at the time that he was a doctor, that he was a professor. But he said that you know what? He said as I've told you, I have two doctorates. And he said, but when I get around people like you that are living it, he said, I'm a sponge.
You're a doer. You're not a being.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just underlining what you just said, Ahmed. You're right on it, man. And this is, and again, Adilah has in this sense of excellence and application of the excellence. All right, she's out front in our class. That's my estimation now. Instructor Bilal might have another one, but that's my estimation right now. She's out front. She's raised the bar. She set the bar in terms of us taking whatever you got right now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Take what you got right now and use it and make it available to the world. The world needs it and needs it now. Not yesterday, needs it now.
Right.
Gary.
So wait, hold on. Yeah, he recognized.
All right, Gary.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, what the sister was saying, I can appreciate what she was saying on her side as a man. She was just breaking down, especially the blood and everything, how a woman takes care of herself, depending on the blood and everything, and nutrition. For me to hear that on the other side, because usually guys just take, when they're having a period, like, oh, she's having a period, and really don't understand, of course, what's really going on. And it's just beautiful to hear the other side of this as a man, because of what they go through, and the food they have to eat, and how they have to take care of their body. It was just something to hear that just perked my interest in what they're going through. And then she just brought it down to to the fitra, and it really helped to understand what a woman goes through. And it was very enlightening. So mans take it lightly on the other side. They really don't understand what a woman's going through. So I just wanted to make that comment.
That's awesome. Like I shared, when I was there for the birth of all 7 of my children. We had studied the natural methods or birth methods, and I was there for all 7 of them. And I used to joke all the time about And we learned the breathing techniques that she mentioned, you know, and that enabled my wife to get through delivering all 7 of my children, what they call with the natural delivery. But my wife, she's one of those women that she was in a lot of pain, but she was able to manage the pain because of the focus, the breathing, and so she was able to manage it and go ahead and make that natural delivery without giving up in the middle of it and having to take the medication or whatever, right? But she made sure that although I didn't have the baby inside of me and my body wasn't doing all that stretching and everything, she made sure I was feeling the pain too. So us brothers, the more we understand, the better our life is going to be too.
Yes. Excuse me, Instructor William.
Yeah.
We have several classmates here that want to make some comments.
Okay. Let's do that. Hassan Abdullah, he
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Salaam alaikum.
Let him do it, and then we'll get to the class members. Go the
Okay.
other class members right there in Atlanta. Go ahead, Hassan.
Okay.
Salaam alaikum.
Alaykum
The
salam.
presentation was perfect, very much needed. And well, we have to tell our story. If we don't tell our story, it'll never get told. It'll be erased from history like they've been doing and like they continue to do to establish on the lie. The whole foundation is built on the lie. But now, not only do the young ladies need it, they got some grown ladies don't even know to the level that she brought it because we've been misinformed completely. Satan promised that he was going to surround us with bad information. Our young men need the same thing. I know what they taught us when I was coming up, and all depend on, I guess, the environmental circumstances of the community that you was living in, how much information they had in those communities. You know, whether they had a bright light, all those communities had some light, but well, we come from some dark times. But thank God that we've been reconnected. The Holy Quran, the science of NuNetics, and God is taking us to a higher and a clear natural understanding of the whole existing order. And the presentation need to be told because in full details, the other people ain't gonna tell the story in details. No, that's our job to tell this story through the NuNetic experience. That give us the widest understanding or the deepest understanding about the natural order, dealing with each letter. And the meaning for each letter to comply with the word to get the full pack of the word. The rest of it ain't gonna do it. They need NuNetics too. But anyhow, that's our responsibility, and I support it wholeheartedly. And it's a lifelong mission. You know, it's for us, our children that unborn. Satan ain't going nowhere. We got to establish this in community life. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. And this is the voice of experience and wisdom, and he's the elder of the elders in our class, to my understanding. How old are you, Hassan?
I'm 6 without claim 87. I'll be 87 in February.
Please be to Allah.
Pay
But I claim
attention.
it now. I claim 87 right now. Matter of fact, I claim 95 right now.
Pay close attention to those words he just shared with us.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
May Allah continue to bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I need all the help I can get from God.
SubhanAllah.
But I thank you for your prayers. And I do all I can
Alhamdulillah.
with what I'm working with to support the good life. And be in that number, as they say, when the saints go marching in, I want to be there with them.
It's
On the battlefield, yeah.
There's one thing about this brother that I know about him. You know, he's out living this thing every day. He's out in the streets probably right now sharing with people. Am I right, Hassan?
That's why I ain't going.
I know.
Yeah.
Take a
Yeah.
listen, pay attention to the application of this information is so important. Take what you have and use it every day in your life. All right, class members in ATL under Imam Kariem, we're ready for you now to share.
Okay, my name is Mecca, and I would like to tell Adilah that what she done brought to my mind was the Renaissance of enlightenment here in America, Atlanta, Georgia, was perfectly scientific. It was exact science, you know, right on point. I see Alice Long again reawakening and shaking up the world, to waking them up to see reality in its broadest sense than ever before. And
I love
like thank her for her presentation. I really enlightened. I made it special. I know it had to be something special because it's like I made it personally to make it here. Period. When I heard you having a presentation.
Yes.
I'd just like to say that was excellent. Oh, I'm Teray Muhammad. That was an excellent presentation, Adilah, and I'm committing myself to, if I have to type that up and get it digital so we get access, I will do it. Sure.
Awesome. Awesome. All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Imam Kariem. Assalamu alaikum to our instructor, our eminent instructor. Alhamdulillah. Well, you know, your sister Adilah, can you imagine sitting up under that over a year, listening to variations of that and additions to that? Y'all ain't heard nothing yet. So we've been contemplating getting the sister to do exactly what she did today. And we know downloads from heaven when we hear it. So in addition to her work, and this is a tip for the classes around the country and the ones that listen to the instructor, is that I was able to, praise be to Allah, with his help and with his direction and with my direct communication with him, the source creator, encouraged me to, after I heard it, and I know she has a whole body of knowledge, I called her and I told her, I said, look, deal with Arham, because her interest was the womb. So this is a guideline for the classes. Whatever your interest is, define it in the Quran, and then get the appropriate letters that apply to your interests. And that's how she was able to, in addition to what she already had from God, she was able to expand because she used the letters to expand, to go deep and go wide, and expand her knowledge base. And so the students around the country, don't worry about going everywhere. Go to your interests. And then define your interests and locate your interests in the letters. Because once you boil it down to what your interest is, you can go to the Quran and find related thematic interests. The themes could be the same, but don't go everywhere. Go to your interests, expand on your interests, and make that your gift to humanity, what Allah has given you naturally. But like, for instance, while he is a carpenter, then you go to the abstract and environmental impacts of what building does, and find, like the Ibnu in the Quran, the builder, the one who builds, the one who constructs, and work those letters like that, and everybody will be sounding like Adilah. It's a very polished situation. I did want to highlight her because I do want it, and I hope that the instructor, after he thinks about it, make that public. So even though we didn't get a focus on her face, we definitely got to focus on what she said. And that's going to be important. So yeah, we're proud of our students. And y'all ain't heard none yet. That's only one. We got others that sound the same. But she is definitely on top of her game in terms of what her interest is and how she developed it and increased it through NuNetics and through listening. And see, that's the other gift in your groups. Listen. The listening is teaching you. Is teaching you, and you have to believe in Allah and count on Him that He gave every one of us something to offer to humanity. Big picture humanity, not outside of these walls, outside of your room that you're getting the video in. You got to go big picture, and the letters will allow you to go big pictures, and certainly Allah will allow you, though, if you form your intentions to go big. See, we got to go big now because we 60 plus. We got to leave everything on the table, everything in the field right now. So I say to the classmates around the country, you hear what happens when you go serious. When you go serious and when you go big, then this picture gets big. And one man can change, or one woman can change the world. Why? How was the world created? In the beginning was the Word. And how we're going to change it with the Word. Language is the whole key, the absolute whole key. So if we get a grip on this is the beginning. 100 years from now, they're going to see our work. Okay? They're going to see our work 100 years. I ain't saying it's going to take that long, but 100 years, you're going to see our work because we are dealing with words. And she did an excellent job of dealing with the words and the letters. The words and the letters. So alhamdulillah, we're very grateful and we're proud of one of our top students. And this is what we're turning out down here in Atlanta. And we challenge in Philadelphia and Virginia and North Carolina and California and Sacramento to bring your best when you come on the screen.
and listen, let me say this, because I've worn that title of email, and this brother right here that just shared with us. Now, we definitely need to take what Adilah has done and put it in written form, in book form, publish it and share it. But what you just shared just now, that should be a study guide for every imam on the planet.
That's right.
I'm serious.
Yes.
But what you've done, you just gave a framework for taking those people who are really serious about what they have and how to take it, understand it, and appreciate it, and deliver it and share it.
Yes, sir.
So that huge piece, I said little, but that's a huge little of what you just shared. That should be written, and that should be taken in and of itself, and this is how real leadership is established. Most people don't even know Imam Kariem from Masjid al-Bayina even exists. But brother, I mean, I can appreciate what you're working with and how you are appreciating the growth process of the fitra and how you're implementing that with the group that you're working with right here in Atlanta, man. And my hat's off to you. But I'm serious. Let's take that piece that you have there and let's incorporate that into our presentation, because the imams around the country and around the world need some clarity in terms of this is how you serve people and help them let the leadership in themselves flower.
Right. Yes, that's right.
That's how it's done. So I just my hats off to you as well, my brother. Alhamdulillah. All right, anyone else?
No, I mean, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum, this brother Shakir. I think the thing that I appreciate is that we don't always see or know the genius amongst us. And inshallah, we can give each other the platforms that are necessary to help us benefit and learn from each other. So alhamdulillah, shukran, Sister Adilah, for everything. And inshallah, we can continue to learn and grow from each other.
That's important because each one of us is important. Each one of us, and connection, the connection. That's where your strength is. That's where my strength is. That's what each one of our strength is in the connections. It's in the connection. So acknowledging that and encouraging that in each other. You know, it's not about me. It's not about Imam Kariem, and that's why he's such an effective imam and leader, because he doesn't focus on himself. He focuses on serving and sharing and helping each one of the members that is close to him, making sure that they're able to bring out the best in themselves. So, brother, you're right on it. Thank you. Anyone else?
Rashad Sharif here.
Yes, sir.
When you started off, you mentioned something about gratitude. Well, I'm extremely grateful for being here in this time, in this place. So like you mentioned, all we have is today. But listen, I'm grateful for the womb we all came from under this leadership. I go back to Adilah Muhammad, Imam Muhammad, Instructor Bilal, our local leadership. All of this is a part and parcel of what we have here. And this NuNetics class and Sister Adilah, and I don't want to take away from the other students, but the Imam was right. She's one of our top students, not to take nothing from the other students. But we have to continue to share what we've been blessed with and through the leadership, through our interests and the experience we have. We just can't keep it to ourselves. It needs to go on above and beyond. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it. I'm going to try to do my part. And I thank again, Sister Adilah.
Salam alaikum.
But y'all hands is going.
We still in Atlanta, ATL.
We got a couple more.
Okay, no problem.
Go ahead, Miguel.
Assalamu alaikum. All I want to say is alhamdulillah, sister, you know, I'm here with Sister Adilah. Every class, I mean, her and other sisters, they just super duper sharp. I mean, they sharp and just listen to them every Sunday when I be in class. It's just truly amazing. They help me so much when I do what I do. Alhamdulillah, I just thank Allah for so much. I really, really appreciate her and all the other sisters in our class. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, I guess I'm Wally Udeen, Yusuf here. I'll wrap it up from the class here. We are truly grateful for having the opportunity to come together, in class. It is really just a tremendous experience. I want to say about Sister Adilah's presentation today. From time to time there are presentations or lectures, whatever you want to call it, that are foundational. And that's the way this particular presentation come off to me, because it's foundational. It's something that we can build on. And when you consider the fact that this presentation has followed two other sisters, it is that did a phenomenal job. It has followed, the headline subjects that International Instructor has been focused on, the meaning of woman. I mean, it's like this is really they say there's the time. This is the time. This is our time, and we have to take full advantage of this So I'm truly grateful for being, a part of this movement and, this just seeing and thinking about things that we are doing and we have to do to move this thing further. So thank you very much. From here, this kind of wraps up the response from the Atlanta class.
All right, praise be to Allah. And again, not only Imam Kariem and of course what he's done in his leadership there by holding that thing together and really setting the bar in terms of groups of us are located, pockets of us around the country. This is how we come together, organize ourselves, and increase our abilities to learn. It's one thing to learn by yourself, but you start connecting with other people, then it's not 1+1 = 2 then. 1+1 might equal 1,000 or more. It might be an infinite amount of connections that goes back and forth. That's how the brain works. So this idea of having classes like you have here, and how functional it has become, and how it has produced learners like even like with Wali, and how he's grown, how everyone has grown. But growing in a group setting like that, a community setting, is so important. And I just want to applaud what has been done at Mr. Al Bayina, and it's a model. It's a model of how you establish community life. So praise be to Allah. All right. Now I see some. Okay, Adib, you've already spoken. Bashir.
I just want to say that there's fertile water, fertile soil, fertile nature in the environment. Our whole environment sparked by what this wonderful gentleman, he's to my right, Instructor Benjamin Bilal, by way of being inspired of Imam W.D. Muhammad. I just want to say my appreciation, and I am pleased to be here in this environment amongst all of my fellow students. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Hey, but I don't say I miss you. Go,
because I got a new phone and I don't know how to work it.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
learning. So
All right.
I'm just so, my soul is just so pleased. It's just such a high pleasure that Adilah has provided me and all of us today. We're talking about restoring the divine feminine principle. Girl, Atlanta showed up and showed out today. This is what you call Raza el Ilahi, the pleasure of Allah. Allah is so pleased with this. I'm pleased with it. So I'm hoping that, I know Allah can, He has to be pleased with you, Adilah. That is just absolutely beyond excellent. It's just awesomely excellent what you did today. Talking about restoring the divine feminine principle. That's you, girl. Thank you so much. You brought me such great pleasure today. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
And thank you. Yahya.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Salam.
This is a great job you did, Sister Adilah. I have I want to make that statement. I have a request in the spirit of woman. Have you ever thought of going further with explaining menopause and the spiritual aspects of that? And I just want to say that another miracle that I've witnessed is that I've experienced childbirth. Or when I say experienced, I mean seeing a mother have a child, and it was I don't know how to say it, but it gave me a whole new perspective of woman. And so the question becomes, what is the lesson, and where is it given that a woman, after having at least the first childbirth, for all the pain that she goes through, would agree to have a second child? What is it that Allah has made it such that a woman would do that? I think that in it is a lesson for man, for the man as well. And just in closing out, Imam Rahim gave a beautiful basis by which one can pursue the study of NuNetics. He gave a great framework around which to pursue that kind of study. And that's it.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Yeah. Okay, let's close out with questions with the dean, and then if Instructor Bilal is ready, we are ready for him. But Adib, go ahead, brother. You can close us out in our questions and comments.
Shukran. I would like to say to the brothers and sisters in Atlanta, and especially the imam that put out a call, I'm gonna take it as a challenge. You know, I'm from Philly. I'm only making a joke now. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm taking it, but you know, but it was insightful for those who want to continue to do well, because y'all setting the standard. So I'm saying to y'all, okay, we're going to come, but we're going to continue to give credit where credit is due, and through what it was established here today, inspired me to even want to do more. That's all I'm saying. And may Allah continue to bless us all. And Imam, shukran jazilan. And sister, you know you hit that. You know you hit that. Alhamdulillah. May Allah continue to bless y'all and continue doing what you're doing, and hopefully we'll follow suit. Shukran. Salam alaikum.
All right. So like I said, for all the respect in the world for International Instructor Benjamin Bilal, and I know that Allah will never put a burden on any of us that we can't handle. I would not like to become behind that presentation we heard from Adilah. That's called like being put on the hot seat. Y'all know. But I know International Instructor Ben Bilal, he's always Allah has always blessed him to allowed him to rise to the occasion and to take us another step in the journey, another degree forward. So without extending this thing any further, take this talk, gladly turn it over to Instructor Benjamin Bilal. Ready for us, we're ready for you.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum to all. And we're going to ask that everyone mute their mics. There's a lot of noise coming through that we don't want in the recording. And I'm going to say some things that you're going to feel very, very good about, very proud concerning. And I believe that today represents a moment in time when Allah is moving us up several notches, not just one notch, but Allah is moving us up several notches. And I think you'll understand by the time I'm concluded. First of all, let me say to Imam Kariem there in Atlanta that you have done an outstanding, and I would add a remarkable job at teaching. And I don't just mean teaching NuNetics, I mean teaching what I call science. And you're teaching them how to apply that science, that linguistic science, to several areas of learning. And that's the whole key. Instructor Bilal is not here to give you everything because he doesn't have everything. But what he does have are significant markers that if you follow those markers, it's like a dog, in a sense, following the scent of other animals. When you let a dog out in the dog park, first thing he wants to do is smell another animal. But what he's smelling for is possible danger. If a dog lets you get up behind him and start smelling, it means that he trusts you, or at least he doesn't conceive you to be an enemy. So, there's a saying in English that says, well, he's just smelling himself. Now, if you're just smelling yourself, that's a problem. But if you're picking up on the scent of other people around you in your social environment, that's okay. You're just checking them out. Just checking them out. And in the same way that the dog does that, the human being does that, but he does it on the heart level. And if you understand what I just said, I just really put together two Arabic words that you should know are related. And that is the word dog, which is kalb, Kalb, and the word heart, which is pronounced Qalb, qalb. So if those words are that related, and both of them are in the Quran, it means that we should also study the similarities in how they operate. In this world, we're very quick to attach a moral connotation to words. And when we do that, we actually lose out on the genuine and original meanings for these Quranic words. So that'll be the substance of my conversation today. But let me say directly to Adilah that was one of the most remarkable presentations that I have ever heard on any subject, not just the subject of women, on any subject. The way it was put together, the way it built upon its previous points, you're talking about something that I will be happy and proud to present to any human being on this earth, no matter what their academic status. If they're worth their status and their sources of information, they would be happy to take this lecture and spread it far and wide. And as she was speaking, I was actually making plans for doing such. Many of you mentioned that it should be published. And as you know, Imam Muhammad said many years ago, someone mentioned it, that if you want to preserve the knowledge, publish it. It's really that simple. If you want to preserve the knowledge, publish it. So what I'm saying to you as a class and as a challenge is that first and foremost, because her presentation was a byproduct of the study of NuNetics, it was mixing NuNetics with what she already knew from whatever her profession is in medicine or doctor or nurse or caretaker, somewhere else she got some information and she was able to make the proper and appropriate connections. So what I'm saying is that my job as someone who is overseeing the NuNetics science, it's also my job to do what I do best. And what I do best is not just speaking and not just webinars, but I publish. Most of you, if not all of you, have at least one publication from Instructor Benjamin Bilal. So what I'm going to do, just to show you how serious I am about what she did today, is I'm going to transcribe that lecture, and I'm going to put that lecture into book form, and I'm going to put that book on the market, and whatever is made from that book outside of the cost to produce it, that's her money. Now, I told you a long time ago I was going to be doing this. If you're serious about NuNetics, and let's say you don't know how to give a lecture or have a lecture or talk that you give, how to get it published, what you have to do then is find those people who do know how to do it. Everybody does not have the same skill set. Those who you know can do it, you need to get with them and say, can you please help me with this? Don't say you're going to do it. Say, I'm going to help you do that. And with the sophisticated technology that we have today between AI and whatever else we have that can take words that are not completely legible or not completely understood and put it into sentences that make sense. With that technology, I consider that technology to be one of the angels of Allah. Yeah, one of the angels of Allah. So I will help you do that. You need to already feel proud about its publication, and I want you to consider it already done. You know how we say done deal and it hasn't been done yet? Say to yourself about that project, done deal. And inshallah, it's going to manifest in maybe just a couple of weeks from now, certainly before the year is done. You're going to have a book that when people come to your masjid or your learning center or your talk or lecture, they're going to be able to walk away having purchased your product. And I don't want a dime from it. I'm saying this to everybody out there who has this desire to publish. I do not want a dime. I thank Allah that He has blessed me with more support now, financial support. And we have to move forward. And at the same time that we're asking people for support, we have to also be simultaneously looking for ways to reduce the need for support. I think that makes sense to everybody here. We're looking for more support, but at the same time, in the same vein, we're attempting to reduce the amount of support that we ask for from our learning public. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't be as involved in supporting something. I'm just going to shift what I ask you to support to somebody else or to some other effort. You'll always be supporting. That's your nature. That's the rijal in you. You serve as the support for all things that are worth supporting. But we have to know how to shift so that the body becomes and remains balanced. So Adilah, I will be giving you a private call to discuss some of the logistics of what we should be doing within the next couple of weeks. So you can expect that call at some point in the next couple of days. I will speak to your Imam first, Imam Kariem, and get some of his ideas as to how best to push this product forward. Because once it's done, we don't want it just sitting on the shelf. That's not what we do. Once it's done, everybody in this immediate audience should be the first ones to purchase it. Even if you don't plan on reading it right away, you should be the first ones. And when I say purchase it, I don't mean one copy. It's not going to even be that expensive. But you should be purchasing 2 and 3 and 4. All of the people who said they want to share it with their young ones and they want to share it with their granddaddy and they want to share it with auntie. So you want to really? Okay, then I should be expecting you to put in an order for $5 and $6. It's really that simple. If you support NuNetics, NuNetics will definitely support you. All right, so that's enough said on that subject. I loved it. If I had to give it in one sentence, I loved it. My heart is jumping for joy at what I heard today. From her and from Imam Kariem, whose words I'm going to use as the preface for Adilah's book. So nothing will be lost. You don't have to wait on any extraneous anybody to come and feel good about it like we do and say, I'm going to do it. And then people get laggard and, things don't happen after they say it was going to happen. That's not what we do. We manifest. So keep that in mind as I segue into my notes for today. All right. So the title for my presentation is one that is challenging and one that is maybe confusing for some of you, because the title of my presentation is the Quran is not moral. Now, I know that might have touched certain hearts a certain way, especially if you're not used to my presentations and my style, as we like to call it. You might think I'm saying that the Quran is immoral. No, that's not what I said. I said the Quran is not moral. Immoral means that it's doing some things that would not be accepted by civilized people. That's not what I'm saying. I said it is not moral. The word for that is amoral, not immoral. Amoral. That means that its primary concern is not to teach morality. The Quran says that Allah created us, and that he created us to teach us that which we were before not knowing. That's an important point that Allah is making in the Quran. Created the human being and taught him and her that which they before, meaning before this revelation, they were not knowing this that I'm about to impart upon them as knowledge. So if human beings were in touch with moral teachings, then that's not necessarily what Allah was introducing. We have societies all across the planet who have their moral codes. There were books, plenty of them, across the planet that highlighted laws like the codes of Hammurabi, you may have heard of, which they say that a lot of Moses' teachings were drawn from. The code of Hammurabi. They say the Ten Commandments came out of that. So that's not the job of Al Quran. The Quran is not a reading as such. The Quran is not an academic reading. What do I mean by academic? I mean eyes to page to brain. Eyes to page learning is called two-dimensional reading. And it's two-dimensional because, again, it goes from the eyes and what the eyes are able to see based on what is put on the page. And all over the world of academia, we call that two-dimensional learning. But we live in a three-dimensional world. So ask yourself the question, why would Allah present to us a two-dimensional reading for people whose brains are acclimated for three-dimensional reading? Three-dimensional observations, three-dimensional calculations. Why would Allah limit us like that to the two-dimensional realm of learning? The book that Allah reveals should be commensurate with the capacity that the brain is able to pick up on. That makes just common sense. So when you look at the Quran, you have to be prepared for a three-dimensional journey into information. And a three-dimensional journey into information is not academic as we know it. A three-dimensional deep dive into information is called frequency reading. And what I mentioned about the dog earlier and how they get to know each other socially, they do it through frequency reading of each other. When they smell, when they bark, and when they do these other things that involve an understanding of frequencies, whether this is dangerous that I'm approaching or whether this is friendly. If you look at my tail and it's wagging a certain way, you know it's friendly. If you look at my tail and it's pointed straight up, you know it's danger. Or if it's pointed straight down underneath his body, you know it's fear. These are frequencies that can be regulated and recognized in the creation, but you have to know what they are. Imam Muhammad said once that if we're not aware of the fitrah, meaning the natural patterns that Allah has established in creation itself, if we're not aware of those patterns of the fitrah, he said the fitrah cannot benefit you. So let's continue into this journey. The Quran is not moral. The Quran isn't moral. The Quran is mechanical. Morals are invented by men. morals give artificial stations, meaning degrees, to men that they do not necessarily deserve. There's a group of people right now in America called the moral majority. How can we trust that they're moral? Especially when you look at some of the things that they advocate. The moral majority, some of these people did what the Ku Klux Klan did, and they stood for ideas that were detrimental to good social standing in society, to healthy relationships between ethnic groups. They did and said things that represented the downfall of those relationships. So how can they be moral majority? But again, the bottom line is that these are not moral efforts because the universe does not support moral efforts. Let's continue. Pay attention and be patient. The Quran, I repeat, is mechanical. Morals are the invention of men. It gives artificial stations to men that they do not necessarily deserve. Mechanics is what runs the universe, not morals. Before there were concepts of good or evil, there was law, and laws are mechanical. They have no concept of right and wrong, good and bad, or worthy and unworthy. Just think about any mechanical object or tool. Does it have any consciousness of what is right and wrong for itself? What is good and bad for itself? None. What's worthy of your attention and what's not worthy of your attention, it has no capability to discern that. Before there were concepts of sin, before a human being spoke the first prayer, there was vibration in the universe. And that vibration was pure, it was impersonal, and it was eternal. It always existed and always planned on being in existence. The very things that we say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can apply also to vibration and to frequency and to energy. It formed the cosmic intelligence of our world, not by judgment, but by resonance. The world of material objects does not have a moral capacity to judge anything or anybody. It can't say from Pluto, from Mars, from Venus, that these are evil people on Earth. Let's go get them. That's not how the universe works. The universe does not reward virtue, nor does it punish vice. So when you are doing right, Allah does not send you rewards as such. Allah does not make the fruit that grows on your vine sweeter because you're sweet. Sometimes it'll turn out rotten. And maybe you'll have to start all over again. Maybe you planted or reaped in the wrong season or ahead of time. Well, what you're reaping or planting or sowing or whatever the case is going to be reflected in that particular life form. And it will not be moral. It will not be a decision maker as to why you have earned more good than the next person because your heart is so good. No. It will be submitting to the dynamics of creation itself. And that creation is called khulq, and khalaq as a verb. That's the word that they use for creation, but the word creation is not enough to describe what khalaq actually means. So the universe is not sentimental. It doesn't cry for you. It doesn't cry because a baby died in Gaza. And it doesn't favor the one who killed the baby in Gaza because they are the chosen people, so called. It doesn't favor them because they think they're the chosen people. The universe is not cruel, and the universe is not sentimental. The universe is exact. When I'm finished with this discourse, your job is to listen to this presentation as many times over and over again as you can stand it, because I'm taking you up several notches, as I told you at the beginning of this discourse. And this is the quick route for getting there. This route will bypass 4 years of college. No exaggeration, if you study it. So the universe is exact. Please stop scribbling on my screen, sir, or I'm going to discharge you from this class forever. Don't come here to waste the instructor's time. The universe favors.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Sorry, brother, I was accident. I dropped the phone. I was done by mistake.
No problem if it was a mistake. Okay. Thank you for speaking up on that. Let me just erase my board. Give me one moment. I don't hear your voice that often. You should speak up more.
Inshallah.
Okay, one moment, class. I'll cut this out of the replay. Just give me 1 second. I'm still not used to everything that this program offers. Hold on one moment. Oops. There we go. Right. Once again, thank you, sir, for speaking up. All right, here we go. The universe favors the life principle. What is the life principle? It's anything that is responsible for bringing in any form of life, particularly that very beautiful presentation of the beginning of life that Adilah spoke on. When that newborn baby comes through the womb and the mother is crowning, isn't that beautiful? To say she's crowning, that means she's royal. The beginning of life is in royalty. Isn't that wonderful? It favors that life principle, but it will obey the death signal when it outweighs the urge to live. As my wife likes to say, that there are actually two forces that are in operation in nature. One represents those movements and those urges that foster life and growth. The other is a movement of energy that fosters death and destruction. And as long as the balance is tilted towards the forces of life and generation, you live. As soon as the forces of death and destruction outweigh the forces of life and construction, you begin to die. That beginning period is called sickness. So, what are we saying with this as an important point to consider? That sickness is not brought on by Allah's decree. Allah is not somewhere in the heavens deciding, okay, he's been a bad boy, she's been a bad girl. Let me send something down them to plague them with this particular sickness. No. Any plague, any sickness, any movements towards ending your life, suicidal thoughts, whatever they are, they're not coming from Allah. They are not on his frequency band to punish you because you slept with somebody who wasn't your wife or something like that. That's not what Allah does. He robbed a bank. I'm going to get him. I'm going to make sure that he gets his due punishment. That's not what Allah does. That's what humans do. It's not what Allah is wasting his time judging. He stole $1,000, but the other guy stole $5,000. I'm going to punish him first. No, you don't see that happening anywhere on earth. Sometimes you look at the creation of humans and you see the exact opposite. Wow, this guy just robbed a whole country. But he's still Bill Gates. He is still George Soros. Why does he have so much favor in the universe? Who is this guy? Or maybe there's no Allah and they're just material dynamics in operation. And there's really no reason to continue being good. Because I see the people who are considered to be the most evil and the most corrupt getting the biggest rewards. Don't tell me you never thought about that. It's natural to think like that when you're thinking through a brain that was created by an unnatural set of principles. The bottom line is that those things are for you to consider with your human self and your human brain. Allah taught the human being that which he before was not knowing, was my original point. And these are principles that are operating in the world of science that are actually common sense. You do something to take away from the life principle, to diminish health, to diminish thinking on a common sense level, then those things will gradually be taken away from you. Even the ability to think with common sense will be taken from you. You see it in the world right now, in practically everything that's being done socially. People sacrificing their lives for no good reason. In the way that fire, for instance, gives light and heat to one person, but burns another person, the same fire, the same heat. They get choked out by it, by the smoke and the heat. In the same way that fire gives both of these behaviors, the mechanical universe does not ask who deserves which. During the what was called the Salem witch hunts, they would go and find certain women that they thought were witches and they would burn them at the stake. And these women weren't all involved in nefarious activities. Sometimes they were putting them on fire just because they were women. They thought they were too smart. They knew too much. But whatever forces of good and evil operating in the universe, it didn't stop them from burning because the universe is not moral. I'm going to keep repeating that until you get it. The universe is mechanical. Our understanding of the scriptures has been re-engineered to accept interpretations which reflect moral ideas rather than mechanical ones. This has taken place through the manipulation of language. For the Western world, this manipulation took place mostly through the ancient Phoenicians. These moral ideas, however, are not necessarily in sync with the fitra-based ideas inherent in nature. The fitra is strictly mechanical. The laws that men invent, they are on the most part strictly moral ideas coming from divided brains, attempting to regulate, to rule, to administer over other human beings and other brains. Nature is purely mechanical. When we perform outside of the parameters of nature, we become diminished. We lose our excellence. The excellence of all flesh creatures is clocked into their cells, and the cell is not moral. When the cells become less and less excellent, meaning when the cells become that which they were not created to be, as far as their khalaq nature we discussed, how Allah created us. The word khalaq in the Quran, when Allah says خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ عَلَقٍ, that He created us from an alaq, or an attaching substance. That's a mechanical statement. That's not a moral one. It's a mechanical one. Because the word khalaq means not only that He created this thing, but that He programmed a particular disposition in this thing that is mechanical, and it works like clockwork because it was created like that. The things that move away from this mechanism, the things that move away from this tendency to fulfill its mechanical nature, when you move away from that, you diminish your very life. And you take away from the creation's life principle. The cell follows a law, and it does not operate outside of that law. You can pronounce any word you want over your pregnant wife's belly. It's not going to make that child regal. It's not going to make them a king or a queen. It's not going to make them smart because you have your hands on her belly pronouncing these words. You have to understand how the law operates mechanically. The word law was derived from the word Allah. So you should see Allah as the director of all systems of knowledge. You heard of Allah as being the Rabb of all systems of knowledge. And they translate that as the evolver. But someone who evolves a thing brings it from one stage to another stage until its completion. And that's exactly what a director does. He first gathers the necessary people. They read their scripts, and he determines whether they are qualified to be in this particular film or in this particular play that he is directing. And he is the one to make those decisions. because they have to read the script as it has been written. That's the rule. That's the law that cannot and should not be violated. So when we see Allah as the director of all systems of knowledge, then we know that we're dealing with a power in creation called Allah, called a law, actually. We're dealing with a law that Allah has established in creation that is regulating, that is directing all systems of knowledge. Anything that is composed of matter is being directed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All systems operate on the basis of mechanics. So when Imam Muhammad gave us the interpretation of Rabbil Alameen as being the Lord of all systems of knowledge, we should have investigated that further. He was just providing hints and clues towards the real meanings of these words, because I'm pretty positive that he knew that the language and the inferences that have been established in the Arabic that they were presenting to us as the Quran, I'm pretty sure that he knew. He made so many corrections on that Arabic that I have to believe that he knew that that was pretty much an artificial concoction, meaning the definitions that we were being given coming from the deaf Phoenicians on the most part. Ethics are to be the natural outgrowth of obeying the innate workings that are built into creation's native programming, what we're calling ethics. Ethics is just a fancy word meaning how groups of people get along with each other socially, how we help each other socially, how we negotiate with each other for our needs on the social and international levels. But it begins on the individual level of the person as he or she exists within a family group. So when it was just 2 or 3 of us in the region, in the area, when we didn't even know there were other tribes across the way, across the land, we didn't even know that. In some cases, we thought we were the only people on earth because that's all we saw. So when we treat each other well as a family group, it's not because we're being moral. We're being sensible. Listen carefully. It is not because we are being moral people and thinking about the good in this. No, it's because you feel good when you're doing the right thing, and Allah clocked that into your genetics to feel good when doing the proper thing. The law answers only to one thing, and that is alignment. The purpose of the salat is to keep us aligned, not to keep us morally inclined, to keep us aligned and in proportion and balance with the creative world. Salat is ensuring that we keep the balance between ourselves and everything else that Allah created in the world of creation. You have to be aligned with it. How do we bring about that alignment, you might be asking? The purpose that I just mentioned was changed in order to create a misalignment with the necessary frequencies that support human evolution. Now, that's a heavy chunk to take out of this teaching. That's why I said you need to listen to it over and over again and do some research, or look up the words if you don't understand them. Even if you do, look them up anyway. Because we live in a world of frequencies and frequency modulation, not in a world that is moralistic as such. Humanity has worshipped morality while ignoring mechanics. In servicing our vehicles, our cars, our buses, our vans, our motorcycles. We cannot ignore its mechanics and simply pronounce prayers as a plea for it to work correctly again. You don't bring your car to the auto shop and say, let's make dua. It's time for salat. Let's make the salat and ask that Allah put our cars back together the way they were when we bought them. You know better than that because you understand that your car is mechanical. But what you don't understand is that your life is mechanical. Nothing in the universe works like that. Nothing. Humans are products of creation. So why assume that we function in that way? We're an outgrowth of creation, and creation is mechanistic. What makes you think that we're not mechanistic? This is a fallacy that has been devised to keep us operating as slaves to the ones who were ingenious enough to invent this lie. And it has been on the most part, those people who have been leaders in religion that have invented that lie. That if we can get these people to think on a moral level, the level of good and bad and evil, the same things they say about Santa Claus and his approach to the children. He's going to find out who's been naughty or nice and then reward them. They transferred that pagan idea, that primitive idea, and put it in religion, all religions at this point. You be good, Allah will bless you. You be bad, you're going to burn in the hellfire. Khalas, case closed. It's a fallacy. That is not the way the universe works. That idea, I repeat, was designed to make you a slave of those who held the ideas of right and wrong over your head and decided for you what is good and what is bad. So in one religion, you got good being those who believe in Jesus Christ as Lord. In another religion, you got those who believe in Muhammad as the last prophet. You got another religion who believes in those who believe in Moses as being the person who regulated the chosen people of the world. And nobody else can be chosen except the ones that were born into that idea. In following this false path, we worship rules and nonsensical rituals while neglecting the science of the spirit called the ruh in the Quran. When I have breathed into him, so says Allah in the Quran, meaning the Khalifa. When I have breathed into him of my ruh, then I want all of the other mechanical things in this creation to submit. It doesn't just mean people. That means everything that operates upon the principle of mechanics. The mechanics related to those things that breathe in and out. The entire creation is breathing in and out. We were taught to measure worth by obedience and not by coherence. We're going to be dealing more extensively with that word, keyword, next week, or maybe even during the week. It's such an important topic for us to understand, even in trying to understand what salat is, what dua is, what all of these words are that they have attached to principles that lead us in the direction of morals, right and wrong, good and bad, acceptable and detestable. The human being already knows what these things are. You as an infant were born with that natural inclination to know what is good and what is bad on the elementary level. Then the information has to be added to for you to become more and more refined in that nature. But that does not have to be taught to you through what they're calling religion. Means we're doing it again. We're doing it over again. We don't want you to have what it was in the beginning. We want you to have what it is as we have remanufactured it with our own hands. Woe to those who write the book with their own hands and say this is from Allah. Allah's telling you about this phenomenon in language and in what changes human behavior. He's talking about it all of the way through the Quran from Al-Fatiha to An-Nas. But people are not aware of the scheme. So because of this, good people suffered while the shameless ones got the advantage over the world. This is how they're able to pull off major crimes on humanity and just give it a label and we accept it. COVID, a disease that nature gave us, a disease that the fitrah produced and foisted upon humanity and killed thousands, if not millions of people. Nature did that. That's the same as saying God did that. And people say, well, it's because we've been disobedient to God. That's why there's a... No, nature is not rewarding disobedience in the moral sense. Nature is rewarding behaviors that allow people to elevate to the level of coherence. And I'll give you just one instance of a for instance in terms of this statement. And there will be an Islamic connection to what I'm about to say. Because these people understand language and they've utilized the language, even if it's their own language, to support this particular hypothesis that I'm about to present to you. When you see words that have an HR connected to them, such as coherence, COHERENCE, that HR represents something that is happening from its inception, something that is responsible for the beginning of something. It is in the word that they gave us for the mountain that produced the first revelation, called the Hira. It is in the English word that produced the necessary help that we needed when no others showed up to help. It's called hero. It's the first person that comes to help you untie those ropes so that you can get loose from the train track. That's the hero. Anybody who comes to help after that, you don't call them the hero. It's always the one who appears first. And you can check out other words that have that HR connection, and you'll see that I am right and exact in my explanation. Even the word for female, when we say her, yes, she's the first. She's the first one to produce new life. It wasn't you, mister. It was her. Even if I give you the word hear, as we have it in English, H-E-A-R, hear, well, hearing is the first sense that's activated, not your sight, your hearing. Your sight comes here fuzzy wuzzy and not even in color. The heart, another HR word, is the first thing to be activated in the system of that pregnancy. And because the pregnancy in that life form is so close in proximity to the human heart inside the mother's belly, inside the abdomen, it's so close that the heart is the first frequency to affect the growing life within. Thank you, Adilah. Yeah, the heart is right there through the whole pregnancy, through the whole term. Beating, beating, beating. Establishing coherence is what it's doing. So the reason why good people suffer, while the evil people were able to wrestle away the advantages of the world and the advantages over the world, is not because Allah was giving favor to these disingenuous, off-track people. It is because those people unknowingly aligned themselves with its law and produced a coherence that was able to be matched. And it's the matching of the frequency that allowed that frequency to rule. I'm giving you very important connections in the logic of world events, not to mention your local ones, like what's going on in your own individual family. You have problems in the family because people are unaligned energy-wise. One is focused on sex, sex, sex. The other one is focused on learning and improving her life. And once you produce a predominance of energy, but that energy is operating on the level of the lowest, what we used to call chakras, right? The lowest of levels, just physical maintenance, physical survival. When your mentality is reduced, as the Quran says, to the lowest of the low, although you were created to be the highest of the high, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. You fall to hit the asphalt. Another word they got from the Quran, asfala, asphalt. You crash and burn. Same person who was fi ahsani taqweem. They fall in time. Thumma. And they become the lowest of things considered low. We can't say the lowest of things low because Allah didn't create anything low. It's in your perception that they are low. Whether you're talking about the snakes or the beetle bug or whatever you think is the lowest of the low. Dung beetle or whatever, you think these things are low. These things are created in excellence. As long as they are remaining aligned with the frequencies being generated by their cells. The cell is expressing what is inside of itself, hence X cell, the exiting of energy from the cell is what is creating that which you're looking at. And if those energies match frequencies, you will then become aligned with that particular frequency. So the reason the world is all messed up is because they have artificially produced frequencies that they knew if they inundated you with that frequency, that your native inclinations for doing things that represent and support your positive life. And you know that because when you did them, you got rewarded. When you did the right thing as a child, your mother said, here's a lollipop. When a dog does something, and if you catch him right after he does that thing that you like, and you pet him or you feed him, that reinforces the behavior that you are looking for from that dog. And it eventually civilizes that dog because the human being had enough sense to reward that dog's good behavior and to punish the behavior that was not what he wanted. But that's in the human's world. That's not Allah's world. That's not the world of mechanics. That's not the world of material dynamics. That's not the world of electricity and magnetism and these other physical material dynamics that are operating within Allah's scheme that we call creation. So if the world of manipulators are constantly feeding us with frequencies that are on the base level, since you're not being introduced to anything that is above that, your human frequencies find matching frequencies in what the society, the manipulators of society are feeding you. So if they're feeding you lust, if they're feeding you diversions, if they're feeding you ideas that tend to separate and distinguish you and make you think you're better than somebody or make you think you're worse than somebody, that you're not worthy, that's the worst crime they're committing. They're feeding us frequencies that are causing us to believe that we are not worthy of God's grace. You remember that song? Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. We once were lost, but now we're found. Amazing grace for this God to save a wretch like me. Can you imagine singing that to your children every Sunday? He saved a wretch like you. Oh, man. So these are things that we need to think about. And we will segue into a part 2 of this discussion. So bring your deep sea diving gear next Sunday, or if I decide to do it during the week, you'll know about it if I have your email address. So we're going to conclude this class so that we can do the necessary things to segue into Instructor William Saphir's, what I know is going to be a wonderful presentation. This is a glorious day for this class. This is a monumental day for these concepts that we're teaching through NuNetics. And as you can readily see, this is the new paradigm for learning that will be established slowly but certainly across this planet. First across America, but across this planet in a relative few years. So stick and stay with this methodology. Don't worry about what other people are saying about what we're saying. Everything they're doing is going to fade to black because the seasons have changed, and I mean the vibrational seasons have changed. And what people used to go for as the okie doke in yesterday's world, the one that's peeling itself away from the real world, the false world is peeling away because it's fake, it's phony, it's artificial, it's peeling itself away like bad skin. The more we bring this salve, it's going to peel itself away from that which is not serving its interest. So stick with NuNetics. Ask plenty of questions concerning this methodology. Introduce this methodology, introduce its learning sessions to people who are not familiar with this science. Don't worry about whether they're going to understand it or not. I remember Imam Muhammad saying this in my last words to you. He said, build an edifice. And many thought he was talking about a masjid. He said, build a masjid as big as you can build it. He said, and don't worry about who's going to show up. He said, Allah will fill it for you. I now know that he wasn't talking about a physical edifice and a physical masjid, because since then he's spoken against doing that. He said, build a school and then find a corner to pray in while you're there. Don't dedicate all of this space and time to building a place that you're going to visit practically once a week, and you got to pay for the lights and the gas and the electricity and all that. You think that's what Allah wants? And then on top of that, the government has the ability to shut you down whenever they want, like they did during the COVID era. You believe in Allah, but you let the government say you can't worship there. How did they become greater than Allah? No, well, brother, you trying to start civil unrest? No, I'm not. I'm trying to bring you to better common sense. So we have a world that's about to unfold some very interesting occurrences. I'd say they're going to be happening in less than 10 days. As we approach the end of this month, keep your eyes open and don't believe the hype. Thank you. As I greet you and turn the microphone, I don't know if William is still there. He's probably preparing for his presentation. Okay, great. So I turn the microphone back over to my friend and colleague. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Listen, just let me bear witness to what was just said. The doctor, the professor I was with yesterday, he belongs to a church here in the Atlanta area. I don't recall the name of the church, but he was saying that his pastor was saying the same types of things that that international instructor Benjamin Bilal was just saying just a few moments ago, and they are he himself has traveled to 65 different countries, and he mentioned in particular Pakistan, where he was teaching them, and they are moving past the walls and the separations and the divisions of distinguishing one religion from the other. We're living in a new world right now, and people are just ready for so this thing is imminent. It's right here, right now. So do this if you would. Go to the chat and just copy. I think it's the last entry there. It is. Just well, it was, but have some after that. But anyway, just go up to where you see the chat from me, and copy that. It's the link to the Zoom where we'll be. And so just copy that and paste that, and click on it, and it'll take you straight to the Elders podcast where I'll be presenting. And this is going to be huge for us to be able to open up what we have to just the general Muslim public here in the United States and throughout the world. So inshallah, I'll see you over there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it in my browser, and that'll take me straight over to the other podcast. So inshallah, I'll see you in just a few minutes. We'll be starting in about 9 or 10 minutes, so you can get a little breather, and then meet us over there, inshallah. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you. And thank you to all of you who stuck and stayed with us today. More to come.